Welcome to the Empowered Embodiment Revolution, where women leaders reveal how to liberate yourself from body battles so you can follow your heart, own your power, and shine in the world. I'm Darlene Downing. I am your host for this event, and it is my great joy to be here with you today. I have with me the refreshingly lighthearted, funny, and wise beyond her years, Jessica Procini. I really love how Jessica has been able to take a topic that can create a lot of stress and anxiety for women and turn that into being an invitation to consider that weight loss can be fun, pleasurable, and an adventure. So I can't wait to bring her into this conversation and invite her to share her wisdom and her magic with you. Jessica Procini is an emotional eating coach and weight loss expert, speaker, and founder of the popular web TV series called J Cine TV. She's on a mission to help women break the dieting cycle, lose weight, and keep it off without starving themselves, giving up chocolate, or worrying about silly things like calorie counts. Instead, she teaches women how to laugh themselves skinny. As a talented comedian, Jessica brings her humor and ability to find fun in all things to her clients so that they can have a freaking blast while slipping back into their skinny jeans. Woohoo! She takes her training from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, the Institute of Psychology of Eating, certification in the Transformational Coaching Method, and a decade of her own struggles with calorie counting, binge eating, exercise addiction, and being absolutely miserable with trying to lose weight. Her passion is teaching women how to eat their favorite foods without gaining a pound or spending multiple hours on the treadmill. You can learn more about Jessica at jessicaprocini.com. Jessica joins us here today to share her love and passion in empowering women as we playfully explore the Laugh Yourself Skinny secret, how to laugh more, weigh less, and love your body. So welcome, Jessica. It is just so awesome to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be in this space with you and everyone who's listening as well.
It is something that I've been looking forward to, and I can't wait to hear what you have to share about bringing levity and laughter to this conversation of weight loss. I think it's a topic that the listeners are going to receive a lot of value from. So before we get to that, I've been asking all of the speakers in the summit to provide their definition of what empowered embodiment is. So I would love to hear how you define empowered embodiment.
So I think empowered embodiment, and my vision of it, is truly a woman who is connected to herself, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. And a woman who isn't playing into stories of fear or self-doubt or shoulds or what she thinks she should be doing, but truly a woman who is holding her intuition as her North Star and really holding that as her truth and speaking her truth and living her truth and loving in a way that is in alignment with her 24/7.
Oh, what a fantastic definition. I absolutely love it. Well, so tell me, I know we touched on it a bit in your bio, that it appears to me that that's not always been what your experience has been. Yeah. Mine either, and that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this information, that all of us have gone through challenges, and we're here to share that there's another way of being. So would you be so kind as to share with us what your body story was and what it was that turned that around for you? Was there like a defining moment where, you know, everything started to change?
Yeah, so my story could pretty much begin when I was a very, very young girl. And I basically was living in a world where I always felt like I had to sacrifice something in order to get the body that I wanted. Um, Now, I mean, kind of like jumping ahead, now where I am, I can eat whatever I want and never gain a pound. But it was never, ever that way before. I really, really struggled a lot with seeing results. I mean, I was working out 7 days a week because I thought that's what would get me, to the body that I wanted. I was eating as healthy as I could, and I still wasn't seeing results. So, like, I knew about kale, I knew about whole grains, like, they were in my diet, but I wasn't really seeing the results. Like, and then I was working out 7 days a week, working my butt off,
Sure.
and still had like a poochy belly, still felt like I was not able to wear the things that I wanted to wear. So the cycle continued. And my quest for answers really began. So I really started at first to up the ante on everything. Um, Food-wise, I went from, trying juice cleanses to really restricting what I was eating, which only guaranteed me binging late at night or only making it like a day and a half through the juice cleanse without wanting to rip out somebody's eyeballs and like devour a whole pantry full of food.
Right.
So I was like, okay, this is not enjoyable. Like doing a juice cleanse is not enjoyable. It's not getting me to where I want to be with my body. Let me put that to the side. And I really shifted my focus to working out. And I had said to myself at one point, well, if working out 7 days a week isn't getting me to my goal, maybe if I made working out my part-time job, I would get to my goal. So that's exactly what I did. I started teaching fitness classes, and I went from working out 7 hours a week to 20 hours a week.
Wow.
And not only was it extremely exhausting, but again, looking in the mirror, you would have thought I had like six-pack abs and, the thighs I always wanted. And I look in the mirror and see the same body. And I was just kind of like, what the hell? I like not only was I giving this everything that I had, literally and physically, I was still feeling extremely exhausted, lackluster, like still spinning for answers, never really understanding like why, like what is wrong with me? Everyone is saying exercise and eat healthy and you'll get the body that you want. And I was doing it. I mean, I was doing it to the 10th degree and I was still not getting there. And, that spiral continued. I was still searching for answers, tweaking what I was eating, exercising more intensely, just really just like kind of working the system. And it was beginning to get really, really disheartening because I would look around, and especially with a lot of the other teachers that I was teaching with, they were kind of in the same cycle, but they were actually seeing results. They were actually getting the bodies that they wanted. They were having the thinner thighs and the flat bellies and could eat whatever they wanted. But why not me? And I started to just really take it internally and be like, there must be something wrong with me. If I'm working out, I'm eating healthy, and I'm still not losing weight, if I'm doing everything that I'm doing and I'm still not getting there, I must be fundamentally flawed. There must be something wrong with me that I was not born with the capacity to get a flat belly or to even love my body.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really, really dark moment. That was a really dark moment for me to walk around with this, like, there must be something wrong with me. Like, despite all of my efforts, like, I don't understand, like, just this feeling of I am like handicapped in a way. Um, and that's when I was really faced with two choices. I was faced with, well, I can continue doing what I've been doing and exhausting myself and like literally watching my life go to hell in a handbasket because I have been spending all of my time and all of my energy devoted to healthy eating and exercise that I no longer had time to go out with friends. My dating life was non-existent. I was no longer dating. In fact, guys would break up with me because I wouldn't um, alter my gym schedule to go out with them, and
Yeah.
they were okay with that. Um, and basically, I was like, I can continue on this like starvation diet to get me where I want to go, where that is basically absolutely miserable. Or I can do things differently. I can really just, throw everything I tried out the window and say, I'm going to do this my way. And that's really what I chose. And that's really when I threw out all of the dieting and the deprivation and the sacrifice and was really like, how can I do this my way? And how can I make this fun? Because I was coming from a place of, if there's something wrong with me and I'm not getting what I want, then I might as well make it fun.
Heck yeah.
So I just started and started to really write my own rules. And I was like, what food feels good in my body? What should I be eating that makes me feel good? And just really allowed my body to be kind of like my panel of like judges of like, what should I be doing? Um, and what I recognized was the ability, when I had that kind of mindset, the ability to have both and. The ability to be able to go out with my friends and go out to dinner like I love to do and still be able to eat in a way that was in alignment with me. I recognized that there was a way that my body loved to move. And the old like boot camp mentality of working out 7 days a week or even 20 hours a week was not in alignment with me, and it was actually a major source of why I couldn't lose the weight. And that's really what I started to do with all areas of my life. And when I started doing that, within 2 weeks, I literally shed 10 pounds. It was not like this magic, pill I took. It wasn't that I went on a juice cleanse or anything. I really started to shift how I did things and really started to take myself and my body into account with every decision that I made. And when I realized that, that's when I was like, whoa, wait a second. There is nothing wrong with me. There is nothing wrong with me because when I shifted how I did things, that's when I saw results. So it wasn't a matter of can I or can't I. It was a matter of I just need to do things differently. And that's really what I help a lot of my clients do, and I hope to share some insights in our interview today, is that we really need to break ourselves out of the dieting mentality of giving something up to get something that we want, because it's a lose-lose situation. And with Laugh Yourself Skinny, one of the things that I am always working towards is, how can we have both? How can you lose weight and still have fun? How can you cook a nutritious, delicious meal and still have time to relax on the couch with your family late at night? How can you move your body and not have to wake up at 6 a.m. to do it? So it's all about having the both and. And just as a quick side note, when I was going through like my own journey, I have a very close relationship with my mom, and she started to kind of like pick up and be kind of like my first guinea pig as I was discovering these things. I was like, well, if it's working for me, let me see if it works for someone else. So I started to teach her how to do things in alignment with her, teach her the Laugh Yourself Skinny way. And within 6 months, at 60 years old, where she had basically kind of like hung up her skinny jeans for life and was basically like, menopause has sunk its teeth into me. I will never, ever have the body that I want again. At 60 years old, she had dropped 30 pounds.
Wow.
And it was amazing to watch her transformation. So I know that this is a really, really transformational way of doing losing weight, basically. And it's something that not only I, continue to walk and talk about, but each one of my clients continues to do as well. So that's a little bit of my story.
Oh, it's a great story, and you and I traveled such a similar path. I did the whole control thing, and all the different different diets, and I almost felt like I had a second job with the amount of time that I would exercise, to the point where I had really severely injured myself and was ignoring it because I could not miss that movement, because if I did, oh my gosh, I'd gain 50 pounds and my whole world would come crashing down. So I really resonate with your story, and I know I was successful at creating externally, like what you were sharing, some of your friends were able to create that, but internally I was a mess. And so, I love that you shared your conversation, you shared your story with us, and also I love how when you let go of the control and you got back in touch with your body, what you discovered, and that information was always there. It just took you going inside. I just love that.
And yes, yeah, and I love how you say it is like really, it was always there, because it was. There were so many symptoms and so many signs that my body was telling me, and how I would continually, like, kind of find an outside answer to help me understand, like, why is my body doing this to me? And what the path to really get there and to be okay with going internally was to kind of clear the road. And I think what a lot of women suffer with, and I know for a lot of my clients, for me, and for us women as a whole, is like being comfortable and being okay with looking inside, because I feel like for so many years that we've really neglected that conversation with ourselves because of fear of what we're going to find, whether it's trauma, whether it's emotions like sadness and anger and grief, whether it's like limiting beliefs and thoughts that, like, what if something really is wrong with me? Or, what if, I'm really not born the way I thought I was born? I think it's a really scary thing, and I think that's why it's so important that we have women like yourself, like me, like the other women a part of this event, to really guide women through that process. Because I know I didn't do it alone. I, had support, I had accountability to really make that shift, and I don't really believe that we can do it alone. We need to have that stronghold to go into that place of truth and find truth, and to know that there's a ladder to come out no matter what we find on the inside.
Absolutely. I think you touched on a really important point there, that to surrender in that experience of going in and getting the answers that we want, it can seem really scary, and that we don't have to do it alone, and I didn't do it alone either, that we have support that's there for us, and then this sweetness and the joy that is on the other side when you reconnect to that internal knowing and chart your own path, and realize that there is nothing wrong with you, that it's just the information that's out there that you're applying to your life is not working for you and your body, but there's other possibilities that are out there. So
right, exactly.
yeah, I love it. Well, I would love to hear how your different body story and how the new relationship that you have now with your body, how that's related to you really doing what you came here to do, to shining your light bright in the world and really standing in your own truth and in your own power.
Sure. So, when I started to discover my my journey and how it was radically different than what media was telling us, or what basically conventional ways to lose weight was teaching, I started to bring it to pretty much everyone I knew. And I started, like I said, with my mom, and then started to just teach other women that there was this different way. What I started to notice was the women who were coming to me were really women who were struggling with pretty much what I had struggled with. In other words, they were eating healthy, they were exercising, but something was still off. Something still wasn't working. They were kind of still in that hamster wheel of, like, let me just keep going, let me just keep going, like, a couple more weeks, I'll get there, but nothing was ever working. And with that, there were two things I discovered and continue to discover in my own journey and those of my clients as well, is usually when we say that we're eating healthy and we're exercising but we're still not losing weight, there's two reasons why. The number one reason is stress, and the second reason is emotional eating. So when I was going through my own journey, my own transformation, what I didn't recognize was my relationship to food was very disordered. In other words, I, would overeat or eat when I wasn't hungry. And, when we think about emotional eating, we kind of picture this person with like 20 boxes of donuts and she eats them all. But the truth is, well, yes, in some cases that can be an episode. Other cases that is very, very far from what a woman is experiencing. So I think we really, really need to start, as a community as a whole, especially as women, start having a conversation around us as emotional beings, because that's exactly what we are, and really starting to look, is my relationship with food and my body healthy? Do I feel okay stepping away from food and feeling full and satisfied and trusting that there will be more food when I'm hungry again? And really starting to just like open the conversation of like what is really going on. So when I started to discover these two prongs, I started to really see that weight and excess weight is just a symptom of a bigger problem. In other words, we need to stop treating the symptoms and start treating the problem. Let me just kind of give a little bit of a visual of what I mean by that. Yeah. So let's say, for instance, that you were walking down the street and you fell and you scraped your knee. So treating the symptoms is you treat your boo-boo. Like you put Band-Aid on it, you wash it out, you clean it out, you put some Neosporin on it or neem or whatever you're into, and you let it heal. And that is treating the symptom. But then you get up the next day and you walk past the same point where you walked before, and lo and behold, oops, you trip and you fall again. And you scrape your knee and you go through the same process. And time after time, that continues to happen, but every day that you get up and you get out, you continue to trip and fall. If we were to treat the problem like I do in Laugh Yourself Skinny, and I really truly believe we need to do in order to lose weight and keep it off for good, is we need to stop focusing so much of our attention on the scrape and the Band-Aid and how we're going to treat the wound. And we really need to start to go, where did this come from? What are you tripping on every day? Like what is it? A crick in the sidewalk? Is it your shoes? Are you wearing bad shoes? Do you have a funny limp? That happens. So really starting to understand, like, where's the tripping coming in so we can stop the tripping. Because when we stop the tripping, you no longer have boo-boos on your knees. So that's like the approach that I really think we need to start taking with weight loss. We need to stop looking at how can I lose this weight and start to get into, well, where did it come from in the first place? Like what is really the catalyst behind it, and really healing those deeper wounds and pulling up everything from the roots so it never grows back.
Absolutely. And then when we do that, we are empowered to stop obsessing over what's wrong about us, and really who we truly are flows through more and more with every day that we choose it. Don't you agree?
Yes. Yeah, and it's kind of like once you clear it all out, you have that smooth sailing path where it is enjoyable to take care of yourself, and it is enjoyable to have food that is beautiful and delicious, and you are like, it's just a natural kind of like process of permission from yourself to take care of yourself in a way that is, again, in alignment with you.
Beautiful. I so love it. You're so wise, Jessica. You are. I would love to shift our conversation now to a topic that you have near and dear to your heart. And so we've been talking about treating the symptom with, you know, trying diets and they work, and then we gain the weight back and we switch to another diet and we have these patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So why is this happening? Does this relate to what you were just mentioning, that we're treating the symptom rather getting to the root cause?
Yeah, so that's definitely one of the reasons why why women continually enter what I call a dieting cycle, where they try something that again treats the symptoms in hoping it'll be a short-term fix, and only to see that what they really need is a long-term fix. That like trying a juice cleanse, like for me, for example, was something I thought would help me shed the 10 pounds I was so desperately trying to lose, and with the recognition that I couldn't even make it past like even 48 hours. And like I was saying, that there are two real reasons why when a woman says, I work out, I eat healthy, but I'm still not losing weight, is because of the stress response and because of emotional eating going on in some form. So let me talk a little bit about stress. So one of the things why Laugh Yourself Skinny is so important when we approach weight loss is because when we get into the deprivation cycle of let me just eat like a little mouse and like eat portion controlled sizes and you know, just follow everyone else's rules about how much I should be eating or what I should be eating, when I should be eating, it's actually very stressful on the body. I mean, when you think about it, and like just like my shoulders go up, I like clench down, like okay, I gotta make sure. So it's not an enjoyable process, and when we don't have an enjoyable process, or again, we have to give up something in order to get something that we want, the body goes into a stress response. And the body, when it's in a stress response, releases cortisol and insulin, and those hormones create a cocktail in your body that basically signals your brain that we're in danger and we cannot lose weight. In other words, digestion becomes a secondary function in the body, and everything goes into survival mode. And that's basically what I was experiencing. Is I was in such a state of survival mode that my body was like basically shutting down. And when your body shuts down like that, your metabolism shuts down. A lot of women have a lot of digestional issues, whether it's constipation or, you know, going to the bathroom more often than normal. So when we are under a state of stress, whether it's a literal stress response, like whether it's a literal, like, let's batten down the hatches, there's a tornado coming,
Right.
or it's a matter of an internal sign that the body still has the same reaction. So when we have kind of like that negative voice playing in our heads of like, what's wrong with you, try harder, like, you're such a piece of crap, like, you know, look at all these other people, they could do it, how can you can't, that, just that voice, that reel running in your head will put your body into a stress response. And, you know, like the whole umbrella that this all sits under is, again, if it's not fun for you, you're not going to stick to it. And if it's not in alignment with you, you're not going that you put over. So that's what's really missing in losing weight is the fun, the approach to it, the sustainability, and doing it in alignment with you.
No, it makes so much sense, Jessica. I mean, it's just our nature. If something's not fun, you know, we're going to have to push, force through it. And even if we are able to create the results that we want, we're miserable in the process. And, you know, if we're creating that extra cortisol in the body, that's making it even more difficult for our body to rebalance, which It's my point of view that the body, given the right conditions, will find that perfect balance when we get out of the way with however we're creating this stress.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I really think the body is a miraculous instrument. And one of the things I tell my clients is that the body is never a cause. The body is always an effect. In other words, what you're experiencing in your body in any point in given time, even if you have butterflies in your stomach, there is a reason why you have butterflies in your stomach. Same way, if you have love handles and they're not going away, there's a reason why you have the love handles. You didn't just hit 40 and God was like, you have love handles. Congratulations. This is your life's destiny to have love handles for the rest of your life. There is a cause. There is a reason why. And, you know, as I shared with my story, when I was looking for the why, I wasn't going deep enough. I wasn't really understanding that, you know, I always thought that my body, there was something wrong with my body because I had a poochy belly or because my thighs weren't the way I wanted them to look. And I think we really need to recognize that our physical beings are an effect of a deeper cause.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Well, I'd love for you to share with us more how we can bring more fun into weight loss, into more pleasure, and how we create an adventure.
So, well, bringing fun into the weight loss process, again, is a very personal experience because what brings fun and pleasure to a woman is very unique. In other words, what I find pleasurable, like sitting in the sun and, you know, enjoying beautiful food and spending time with friends, like I find those things enjoyable, but for some people, it just doesn't get them going. So it really has to start with finding what is fun for you. And what I really, you know, what a lot of my work and what I do with a lot of my clients is kind of like research. In other words, testing and tweaking and really understanding what is it that lights you up? What is it that is fun for you? And a great example of this is how we can move our bodies. So for a lot of women, when it comes to losing weight, we kind of take on this boot camp mentality. In other words, I got to burn the most calories in the shortest amount of time for me to get, like, for me to see results. And again, like as I was saying, that mentality starts to stimulate a stress response in the body. That is a very diet mentality way of looking things. In other words, I need to sacrifice myself, sweat my buns off literally in order to get the body that I want. Now, one thing I want everyone to recognize is there is always a laugh yourself skinny way of doing things. So the laugh yourself skinny way of doing exercise and doing movement is really finding a way of moving that you are excited about, that lights you up, that wants you putting your sneakers on or putting your workout outfit on and getting your butt out the door. A lot of women don't have the experience when it comes to moving because they don't know that there's like hundreds of ways someone can move. So the question that I always, you know, like to say to my clients when we're going through finding the movement that's right for them is if you could do anything, if you could move your body in any way, shape, or form, and it would all burn the same amount of calories, it would get the same kind of results, what would you do? In other words, walking would burn the same amount as running, or walking would burn the same amount as kayaking. What would you do if everything was open to you? And I've had women, you know, sit and really think about this question, like, well, I really do love walking. Or I've even had the answer of ice skating and even dancing. Like, dancing is very natural to a woman. So when you start to ask yourself that question of, like, what would I really do? What would I really want to do? What would excite me? And recently for me, I've been kind of reassessing my own, body and what I need myself. And I keep coming back around to dance as well. Where before it was very much, I loved walking and I just loved kind of going on these like walking adventures and just exploring. And when we start to bring more of our passion and more of our desires into the process, that's when it actually becomes enjoyable. That's when your body will actually start to crave that kind of movement. And that's when you can hear her loud and clear, when you're not trying to fight against your body, but you're actually working in community with her. You're actually using her. You're actually listening to her. That's really where it is. And when my clients start, moving in this laugh yourself skinny way and starting to populate, like, how can I really lose weight and do moving, in a way that I love, the results are miraculous. I mean, I was on the phone with a client last week, and we've only been working on this movement part for the past, like, 3 or 4 weeks in her program. She's like, I looked in the mirror last week, and I can already see definition in my body. She's like, I can see definition in my upper body and my back. She's like, I've never had that in my life. Mm-hmm. And here, it's just, like, so natural. It's not like, boot camp or something. She does it in her own home. So it's not like we have to stay in that boot camp diet mentality of sacrifice. We can really start to bring in fun in the process.
Yes, yay, and that it was fun and pleasurable along the way. I love that, and I appreciate you bringing to the conversation that so many of us have these set ideas of what exercise looks like. And I remember somebody, I can't remember who it was, saying that exercise is like exorcist, it's like taking the spirit right out of you, like instead shifting to move. How do I want to move my body, and how does my body want to move? That would feel great to me. And I love, too, that you brought an awareness to me of how you're now at this place where you used to enjoy walking, and now you're hearing that your body wants to dance, and that you want to dance with your body, and that it is this evolving thing, that it's not just one set thing that we stay with for the rest of our life. And for me, it can change day to day. Like one day I may want to dance, and one day I may want to walk. So I really appreciate that you brought that to the conversation, too.
Yeah, and that's something that we really need to get out there and communicate to women, is just like, you are an organic being, just like, the trees outside. They have their seasons, they have their growth spurts, they have their cycles of life too, and so do we. And I think one of the things, especially in this day and age where, plastic surgery is starting to become so popular, and everything is just, we almost have this expectation that will be this everlasting thing, and that, as soon as we just can understand this one way of doing things, then everything will be fine. But what we really need is to have that deep understanding in those tools of, like, how do I continue to do this process? And I was, talking with a client last week, and she's like, I'm going to be away. I'm going to be traveling for the next 2 weeks. Like, what do I do? And I was like, you take everything that we have done, that we've been working on, and you literally lift it and place it down into your new environment. So, like, when it comes to moving, like as we were talking about, what would you want to do when you're in, like, the boondocks of Vermont? You have new capabilities there. Your body's going to be different. She's like, oh, well, maybe I'll want to go hiking, and maybe, like, I'll actually, like, want to be outside rather than, like, holed up in the city. So, like, just starting to know what questions to ask will always lead you to the right answers. It's not about finding the answer, it's about finding the process to get to the answer.
Love that. And the questions, asking the questions, so that it's a constant evolution between you and your body, and a co-creation together.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I would love for you to share how we can start laughing ourselves skinny today, and I wanted to tie that in with what your favorite laugh yourself skinny empowered embodiment tool would be. I've been asking the speakers to give a tool to everyone. So what would that be for you, Jessica?
So I think before we even talk about like how to question yourself and know what to ask and know what to do and what to eat and the number one thing that we all need to do is to slow down. We all are going at such rapid paces, and just to-do lists like, you know, miles long, that we don't have the relationship with ourselves. We're so used to looking and doing that we don't even know what symptoms and signs our bodies are giving us. We don't even feel comfortable, you know, settling in with ourselves for just a breathing moment, because we always feel like we have to be on our to-do list, or we have to be productive, or, you know, taking a moment is a sign that you're weak, and all of this crazy like mind stuff. But we really need to just chill, like just taking a breath. And one of the things that I do with my clients is we really start to pepper in points of relaxation throughout the day. So it's not that you wait until the end of the day to relax, but you find moments in your day to relax, because it goes back to our stress, you know, weight loss example. We need to have these moments of relaxation throughout our day. So that could be taking 5 minutes, turning off your phone, stepping away from email, and just sitting on your couch and taking deep breaths. It could be going out for a walk. It could be when you walk your dog, you go a little bit farther to go to the most beautiful park in your neighborhood. There are so many different ways that you can really infuse fun and pleasure and relaxation in your day and give you that moment where you can reconnect to yourself. Because that's what weight loss is really about. It's your body begging for your attention and basically doing anything to get it. And it's time that we start listening. And it's really time that we take a moment and just breathe and just be and stop doing and just go inward. So that would be like rule number one, is to slow down and find those little moments throughout your day of reconnecting to yourself. Just as if you would your girlfriends or your mom, you know, if you're calling your mom, or, you know, you are connecting with your kids. It's important, like you're a person too, and it's important that you connect to you and really understand how to take care of yourself in that way.
Such a great tip, and it can seem counterintuitive when we're so focused on go, 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 do, do, do. I need to do this. Just being with yourself.
Yes, yes. I don't know if you can hear that, but I live right next to a fire department, and I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear the siren? Love, they always come at like the most perfect times of like, I'm like, oh, that's happening now because we all need to listen to this. So just how fitting, how synchronistic.
Yes. Before that fire truck has to come racing to your house, just stop and be, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, I have had such a great time having this conversation with you, Jessica, getting to know you better and hearing more about your work. And I'm sure that the listeners are just going to receive so much from what you have brought to the conversation. And I know that you have extended your generosity, offering a free gift that is right below this video. There's a link to take you right to that, and I'm going to let Jessica tell you a little more about what it is and what she's up to.
Yes, yes, yes. So if this was helpful for you and you're one of the women who are like, I'm eating healthy and I'm working out and it's still not working, I do have additional resources for you. So as Darlene said, the link below the video will give you a link to one of my resources called The 3 Biggest Mistakes Women Make When Trying to Lose Weight and What to Do Instead. And it takes some of what our conversation was here, it takes it even further, and how you can start shifting some of the things in your life to go from the deprivation dieting cycle into having both, and where those points of oopsies or trip ups or things like that, where you can start seeing some shifts and some changes around that. And in addition to that, so once you've hopped on and you've received that resource, and you want to take that conversation even further, if some of this really resonated with you and you're really looking to put this to bed for good and really understanding what your body is trying to tell you, why this excess weight won't be gone for good, I do make myself available to women who are really committed to closing that conversation for good. And once you've hopped on and you've got the resource for the 3 biggest mistakes, we can take the conversation even further in a discovery session where we hop on the phone one-on-one and we can start to pick apart what I call the hairy hairball of weight loss, because there are so many different things that could be playing, and so that you can really get clarity, you can really get the support that you need to make the changes and put this to bed for good. Because as I like to say, there's so much energy being put towards losing weight, and we only get so much energy in the day. So it's really, really beautiful to see what you can and what you were meant to do with that excess energy once it is called back from the dieting cycle.
Absolutely. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for offering that to everyone. And I also wanted to say, Jessica, you are just so funny, and I have enjoyed, it's J Cine TV, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you guys have to get on and enjoy her with her hysterical sense of humor. And if you want to lighten up your life, you've just got to go check out these videos. How do you find it on the web, Jessica?
So you can actually just Google "laugh yourself skinny" or like go to YouTube and Google "laugh yourself skinny." There are hundreds of videos with. I always love to, I mean, it's a perfect example of what Laugh Yourself Skinny is, because I always give, some sort of resource or a tip or, a shift that you can make, but we always infuse it with some sort of crazy example or joke or something to, A, get you to remember it, and B, to give you a little giggle throughout your day. So if you get the resource that I have available, my free gift, you'll also be included to receive those as soon as they come out, so you won't have to always be scouring the internet for them. But you can always find them on YouTube or Google my name. Google's amazing, so.
Perfect. I highly, highly recommend them. You've certainly lightened up my world with your with your mix of wisdom and fabulous sense of humor. So thank you for being the gift that you are, and thank you so much for being here and for sharing your story and what it's been that's shifted your life and how you're supporting other people to do that right now, and just for being a contribution in the world in the way that you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Darlene. It has been such a pleasure and such a joy, and so much gratitude to you for creating this opportunity for these women, and how grateful I am to connect with you and each one of these ladies here today. I'm so grateful, and send you so much love, and onward and upward.
Yes, how does it get any better than this, right? And to all of our listeners, stay tuned. We've got more videos, more amazing speakers, more empowered embodiment tips and tools to come. So until then, bye for now. Bye, Jessica.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.